A song of origins, love, and truth. In the name of reflection and searching hearts, this is told as what is known, what is believed, and what is taught across scripture and history. The story of Jesus Christ begins in the land of Judea and Bethlehem at his birth, raised in Nazareth of Galilee under Roman rule, among a Jewish family rooted in ancient Israel's covenant traditions. Historically and culturally, he would have looked like a first-century Middle Eastern Jewish man, likely with olive to darker toned skin shaped by sun and soil, not the pale European images painted centuries later. For he walked dusty roads where light burns brown into skin and wind writes lines of endurance upon the face. He is not described in scripture by skin color, for the message was never about hue, but about heart, not about race, but about redemption. And so the question of his origin is both earthly and spiritual in tradition. Born into history, yet spoken of as divine in Christian faith. Not defined by migration papers or borders of modern nations, yet constantly moving among people as one who had nowhere to lay his head. Traveling from village to village, welcomed by some, rejected by others, always among the displaced and the searching. And no, in the central teachings preserved in the Gospels, he does not proclaim hatred toward humanity, but instead says, for God so loved the world. And again, love your neighbor as yourself. Placing love at the center rather than division. He speaks in the Sermon on the Mount, blessing the poor in spirit, lifting the meek, comforting the merciful, and calling peacemakers blessed. Not warriors of destruction, but builders of reconciliation. There is no teaching where he commends hatred of the poor, no doctrine where he rejects the disabled. Instead, the scriptures repeatedly show healing of the blind, the lame, the afflicted, as in Matthew 11:5, where the blind receive sight, the lame walk. And in Luke 4:18, where he proclaims good news to the poor and freedom for the oppressed. Regarding immigrants and strangers, the ethic is consistent with, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. A radical instruction of hospitality that places dignity on the outsider. Regarding those who are marginalized, the stories repeatedly place him among those pushed aside. Tax collectors, lepers, women of low status in that society, showing inclusion rather than rejection. Regarding war, he does not celebrate it, but instead says, blessed art the peacemakers, and teaches to turn the other cheek, resisting cycles of vengeance. And where swords are mentioned, such as those who live by the sword will die by the sword. The message is restraint, not glorification of violence. So the claim that he hates humanity collapses under the weight of his own proclaimed ethic of love, forgiveness, and sacrifice. The question of religion is clearer in historical framing. He was born into Judaism, practiced within that tradition, taught from Hebrew scriptures, and his earliest followers were Jewish as well, with Christianity forming later as his followers interpreted his life and resurrection through a new covenant understanding. And so the narrative is not of division, but of widening circles, starting in one small land and spreading outward through testimony. And if one listens to the text as poetry rather than weapon, one hears not hatred, but invitation. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. A call that does not sort humanity by worthiness of exclusion, but by shared weariness. Thus the figure at the center of these scriptures is portrayed not as a hater of the poor, the disabled, the immigrant, or any people group, but as one who overturns tables of injustice while opening arms to those crushed beneath it. And the truth of his message, whether accepted as divine or studied as historical moral teaching, remains anchored in love that confronts harm without becoming it, mercy that does not abandon justice, and peace that refuses to worship war. And so the question returns, not to what color his skin was in speculation, nor to borders of modern identity, but to what his words demand of those who read them: to love, to forgive, to lift the lowly, to refuse hatred, and to walk as if every stranger carries sacred weight. In that sense, the origin story is less about geography and more about transformation. Light entering ordinary dust, calling ordinary people into extraordinary compassion, and leaving behind a trail of verses that continue to challenge every generation to choose love over fear, mercy over contempt, and peace over violence, again and again, until until the meaning of the message becomes not just spoken, but lived.